Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and hi, and welcome to what I call the next segments of segments. As we get prepared to go to the next half of six, we always want you to understand as we continue that the Black Business Network is here to provide you with education, inspiration, and information. Our whole entire source of why we're doing this is to help Black businesses from across the world, not just North Carolina, to understand different aspects of business. And right now, I'd like to introduce to you our next guest. And I think everyone who's come on are guests because they are guests in your home today as you sit back and relax and enjoy the great information. And of course, our next person up is LaShawn A. Harley. Hello, LaShawn A. Harley. Welcome back and welcome back. Welcome back. We're going to go ahead and give it to you because you know I'm a time guy and it's 3 o'clock, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye bye.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. If you have any questions during this presentation, please make sure that you put it onto the side, and I'll be glad to answer them as we go through this presentation. So this is part of the Black Business Expo, and this is the Business Essentials, being presented by me, LaShawn Harley. I'm director of the Small Business Center at Durham Technical Community College. So, going to go through a few things today to help you all as you're doing your business. So this is not just for businesses that are starting up. This is for any type of business that you might have. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So the objectives for today, I'm going to talk about the essentials for the business owner, entrepreneur, and or founder. For me, business is for-profit and nonprofit. I don't separate them out when I'm talking in general about things. If there are things that are specific to a nonprofit, I will state that, as well as if there are things specific to a for-profit that a nonprofit would not be associated with, I'll let you know that. I'm going to talk about some business essentials, and then I'm going to talk about some essentials for the business. Then if there are any additional questions, I would love for you to ask them if they haven't already been asked. So in getting started, when we're looking at the business, we have to look at you, the owner, first, because we need to make sure everything about you is in place, that you are where you need to be. So some of the things that is essential for the business owner, the entrepreneur, and the founder are the things I'm going to provide now. First, you need to have a passion for this concept that you have. By having the passion, you'll be able to get up when you're tired, when you don't know where you want to go. Sometimes you have to work through it. But if you have a passion for it, you'll do that extra mile to go for to make sure it's successful. Saying that I just want to own my own business, I want to make money, that alone will not do it. You have to have a passion for that concept that you're presenting. You need to be an action figure. Many of you may know a lot of people talk about, I want to start a business. I'm going to start a business. They start a business, stop, start, stop. They do things partially with the business. A business owner successfully doing a business, entrepreneur and founder, are those who are action figures. They're about seeing, what do I have to do? What do I need to get done? And I congratulate every single one of you who are out here today, because that's what you're doing. You're being an action figure. You're going to say, I'm coming out to get information that I need, also connecting possibly to those resources that are going to help me to grow, develop, and even just make it better for what I have to do. You have to be a bouncing ball on the stairway. And the reason why we say that is a bouncing ball on the stairway is it comes down, it still has energy. And it knows that it may get to the end of that staircase, but when it gets to the end, once it gets new energy, it can bounce right back on the stairway. Also, when we take a bouncing ball, we throw it at the stairway, it goes up, then it comes back down. But you notice when it goes up, it's going higher than it was before. That's because it's getting what it needs to give it the momentum to keep going higher. So there are lows when you're in a business, but the thing about it is you're like the bouncing ball. When you get to the lows, you learn in the lows to take you higher to the next step. So it's not about the fact that things are coming down. It's getting ready to spring you back to the next level up. You have to be a cheerleader. It's essential for you to be a cheerleader because, first of all, you have to be a cheerleader to yourself to do and get the things that you need to get done. You also have to be a cheerleader to those who are in the community, to those who are funders, to the employees, to your suppliers. You have to talk about what is great about you. So you're going to have to be a cheerleader as well as a motivator in the cheerleading that you're doing. When you're doing a business, you have to be a risk taker. You're taking a risk doing a business, and depending on which level you're doing your business, you're taking more of a risk than others. If you're doing a franchise, if you're buying a business that's always in existence, you have risk, but at least you have some information, some guidance that you can utilize. However, when you're the entrepreneur and even sometimes the founder of that nonprofit, you're taking much bigger risks because it's an unknown territory. Folks don't know what's necessary or where it's going to lead, but you're ready to travel to the wild, great beyond. But you're going to do it by getting as much information as you can. You just don't go out there and do the business. What you want to do is you want to be an informed risk taker. Get as much information that's readily available. Now, it's not going to be exhaustive. Things are constantly changing. Things are always in development, and many things you do not have control. But you will look at the fact that you're making the best decision based upon the information you have access to. And that's what's going to help to make your business successful. Another essential for successful business owners, entrepreneurs, and founders has been that they're lifelong learners. One of the things that we can tell you that is going to happen is change. For example, COVID has brought a lot of changes, but you can't stop there. You always have to be in the process of learning. There's always something to be learned. And the biggest people you're going to learn from will be your customers. So you want to be a lifelong learner, read different things. Things change, people change, society change, thought process change. And those changes are not always for a negative. Those changes may be put in place to make life easier for you. So why do things harder when you can get it done much easier? So be a lifelong learner, understanding that there's always some place for you to learn more, and if others have information for you. I need you to be optimistically real. So some people say, well, that's an oxymoron. Not really. It's the fact that we want you to be optimistic in what you do, but be real about that optimism. Example I always use is if I'm 34 years old, I have a job, let's say I paid off all my debts, home free, debt free, car debt free. Let's say I make $100,000 a year. I want to be a multimillionaire by my next birthday. And my birthday is in March. How realistic is that? Well, I get answers such as, well, you could win the lottery. You can marry someone with a lot of money. Maybe you get an inheritance, things of that nature. But between now and November the 13th, and let's say March the 17th, let's say St. Patrick's Day, how likely is that to happen? It could. I could be optimistic about it. But what if I say by the time I'm 40? Some people may say that's still a long shot, but the possibility of it occurring is more real than to say by my next birthday. So you want to be optimistically real when you're setting your goals, when you're budgeting, when you're doing your projections and your estimates. You want to be optimistically real. There's always this thing of you want to shoot far, but if you go even further, it's even better. Entrepreneurs don't chase opportunities. You don't chase opportunities, you see opportunities. Understand that word chase. Chase means you're behind. Chase means you have to catch up. And in order to catch up, you have to work harder, you have to work longer, and maybe you even have to work stronger. And if the ones who are ahead of you stop, you've got to figure out why they stopped before you can say, okay, this is somewhere that I really want to go and need to go. So the thing about it is that you want to see opportunities and make the most of it. Because many times you're going to see opportunities that not everyone sees. As well as you may see opportunities, but the way you see the opportunity is different. Just like when we look at the different fast food restaurants, they're different. You can have a McDonald's, a Burger King, a Hardee's, a Sonic, a Cookout. And if you're in other parts of the world, you may have those all in the same area. Some of them within a 2-block radius, they're right by each other, and all of them with their crowds. Why? Because each one saw an opportunity for the customer base that they wanted, and why those people would come to them. So you don't chase an opportunity, you see the opportunities, and that's what you want to discover and develop. Those who are business owners, entrepreneurs, and founders, and especially the entrepreneurs, they put the square peg in a circle slot. They don't let the circle slot stop them with the square peg. And the greatest example I can give you of that is look at a child. If that child has a square peg in their hand and that slot is circle, they're not going to let that circle slot stop them from getting the square peg in. This square peg is going to fit into this board, and I'm going to make sure it does. And that's what entrepreneurs find. They say, if I have a square peg, I'm going to figure out how to show my square peg belongs in this arena that I'm looking at. Now, that doesn't mean you go somewhere and you keep pushing for it and it's not going to be profitable or beneficial to you. It's about saying, what do I have and how can I maximize that resource I have when it may not be obvious that that's what it can do and where it can go. You need to be vision driven. And the reason why is because you're not going to make your vision happen overnight. It's a process. Think of it as it's a race you're running, but you're not running a sprint. You're running more like a marathon. So you're figuring out where you're going to do, how to go up and down. When you talk to marathon runners, they'll tell you when they get to certain terrain, when they get to certain altitudes, all the different things that they do differently. That's what you're doing with your business. And we're shooting for the vision because, as the old saying say, shoot for the moon, you still may fall upon the stars. The lower you shoot, if you fall short, the further down it is. So if you shoot for the moon and you fall short, you're among the stars. If you shoot for the stars and you fall short, you're at the mountaintop. If you shoot for the mountaintop and you fall short, you're among the forests. If you shoot for the top of the forest trees, you end up down at the stump. If you shoot for the stump of the tree, then you're at the sidewalk. If you shoot for the sidewalk and you fall short, you're in the gutter. If you shoot for the gutter and you fall short, you're going down the drain. Don't fall short in where you're driving yourself. Always look to drive yourself towards that vision that you have for that idea and concept that you have. And guess what? When you reach that vision and you reach that goal, we do that, yes, victory, victory, just like the Rocky does, and you see people on the mountaintop. But what do? They say, now it's time to climb another mountain. You get another vision and you shoot for that vision. Other things that's essential for you. You need to get advisors and subject matter experts around you. These are people you can call upon when you have a question, and they're willing to answer those questions. So advisors are people that you can pick up a phone, maybe you go out to lunch, text, email, and you just have a quick question for you and them, and they're willing to answer it. They're advising you. Typically, they're subject matter experts in the areas that they are, and they will help to guide you into understanding things, not only what you see, but what's not so obviously seen. Those subject matter experts will also be able to tell you what's going on in the different arenas and how different arenas do things. By hearing that, you may get an innovative and great idea for your industry that you didn't know about before. And you say, wow, I wonder why we've never done that. So therefore, they can help to give you ways of making life easier, making life better, making life more fun, as well as helping you not to have to go over roadblocks, find detours when you don't have to, or go places where you end up having to do damage control rather than taking control of it. Balance yourself. This is easier said than done. And I, as a business owner, been there, done that, still doing it. It's hard to always balance, but you have to have balance. Take time for yourself. Are you making sure you're healthy? Are you sure that you're doing things that are fun? I'll never forget when I first started in this industry as a consultant, I had a client. Every Thursday, during 4 o'clock or a matinee, she would go to the movies. Didn't matter what it was, G-rated or anything, whatever was playing, she went to the movies because going to the movie theater relaxed her. So it wasn't about what was on the screen itself. It was about the fact being at the movies, sitting at the movies, took her back to a childlike, child freedom type attitude and mentality that allowed her to just calm herself for that time. And then she was ready and raring to go back to work. And I do mean raring to go back to work afterwards. Where are you putting your balance? How are you balancing your social life, your civic life, your spiritual life, your mental life, your academic life? What are you doing to balance it? And then prioritize the things in your life. Where are your values? And this is going to be different for everyone. And even for your values, your morals, and beliefs, and we'll get to that another day and time because that's another big, great discussion about those 3 topics along with 2 others. But how are you prioritizing things? What are the most important things for you? I'll give an example. Just today, I was talking to a young lady who is going to get certified so she could do some things in the next level of what she wants to do. So she's taking some classes. But she also has some items that she needs to complete for a client. The client is very close to her, so they've been working with her because she's had some other classes where dates have been pushed back because of COVID. But she finally completed those. This was the next phase. This was a class she was already in. She missed one class because of another class pushing dates back. So this would be a second class. She was told about books, the book that she was supposed to have read. They're getting ready to do a quiz on tomorrow. And I said to her, think about yourself, think about your health, think about your mental capacity, think about the other things you're doing. Is this the time for you to do it? I said to her, it's more important for you to keep those customers, even though they are understanding. You mentioned before that you need them funds and you prioritized there was some item you wanted. So what we did is we went through that process and she said, you know what? I think you're right. I'm going to do what somebody else in the process did. One of her other friends, they said, this, I'm going to have to drop out this other class because this is not the time. It's not about giving up and it's not about money being wasted. It's about the fact of taking care of yourself because if you are the business, especially if you are the only person in your business working your business, we need you healthy. We need you well. So therefore, we need you to prioritize what you do and be okay. By the time we finish the conversation, she said, you know what? It was meant for me to talk to you today because you helped me to rationalize and see what it is I need to do that other people have been telling me about. But she was pushing forward. That's just the way she is. Get coaches and counselors. There's a difference between advisors, coaches, counselors, and mentors, which I'll get to in a moment. Coaches are more of a formal process that you have that are helping you to get to a point where you want to get to, and they're coaching you through it and to it. Some people may stay longer. It's all depending upon the purpose of why you have that coach. The counselors are those persons that are going to be there to listen to you. And in a business sense, many of them will help you put things in place. They'll help to guide you. Now, this is different than a consultant. Now, the consultant would do the work for you and you hire them, but a counselor mostly leads and guides you, and they may do aspects of the work, but their goal is not to do the work together. Both of these are working to help to make sure that you're trained and you understand what's going on through the process. They don't want to be the one that you call back for the next step. They're the ones that want to also empower you to move forward with the tools and other resources that they give you. Definitely communicate with your friends and family, especially your family members that live with you. And if some of you have roommates who are your friends, these are also important because you need to communicate with them about what's going to be happening with your business. I'm not talking about going down into the trenches and details of minute details of it, but you need to communicate with them about what's going to happen, where things are going to change for you, how you may have been readily available every time there was a new movie that came out. You went to see it with them because that was your way of celebrating. That may have to change. You may not be able to go out all the time. You may not be able to go to trips as often as you did, going out to dinner. Also, these people can also help to make the load lighter for you for helping to do things that are not related to your business, but they affect you, the business owner, entrepreneur, or founder. So they're there to be that sounding board. They're there to be a cheerleader. They're there to help you move forward. Now, this is also a time for you to find out those who are the naysayers, those who always bring up the negative. And I'm going to talk in a moment how you need to be able to understand how you need to handle them. Because what you want to do, we're getting back to balance. This is going to be a stressful venture doing a business, but it's a good stress because this is what you want to do. So we know there's stress associated with it. We don't need to have any more stress when you go home, when you go visit others, when you're talking to folks on the phone. You don't need any more things to add on to the weight of that. So we want to make sure that you have that conversation. Also, when you communicate with family and friends, they can give you ideas. They can make you also think through the process of what you're doing. And please do not negate children. Children ask two questions I love. They ask you why, and they ask you why not. Now, why do I like those two questions? And why from the children? Because you have to think of how to explain to them what it is you're doing and what it is you're not doing. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to do what they're asking about, but it causes you to think in a different way. When we talk to adults, we get this presumption that that adult is going to understand everything that we're saying, but that's not necessarily true. So when you're communicating with them, they get a different perspective. Plus, children think if they put a cape on, they can fly. They still think of web hole Spider-Man. And the one that drives me the funniest that I think that we all fell into with Wonder Woman, we all believe that this person we could see in the plane that was invisible was also invisible, although we could see it. And they open their eyes as we gotten older and as we go through experiences, we become more cynical about a lot of different things. They aren't. You've got to learn how to delegate and outsource. Figure out where your weaknesses are and look to delegate and outsource them. Now, yes, I understand the financial resources may not be there, but you need to make then that a priority of an expense that you need to incur for your business to be successful. So learn what to delegate and outsource. Remember, your money is in what you do. So we want you doing. The more you do, the more money it makes. Granted, you have to pay them, but we want to look at whether or not what you're paying them is less than what it costs for you to do it. Had a young lady with a business that just this week, and she wanted, did I have to give a big bookkeeper? I said, well, tell me, how much do you make per hour? She said, well, some of the stuff I do, $60 to $80. I said, the bookkeeper may cost you $40. So that bookkeeper, you pay $40, you do it, you're losing $60, you're losing $20 to $60 because you could have made $60 to $100. Plus, they will do it faster than you because they understand what's going on. We just now have to make that a projected expense that you have to bring money in to cover. So learn to delegate and outsource. You also want to find like-minded and trade connections. Sometimes you're the first person that those who are around you will know to be an entrepreneur. So they're not understanding what's going on. Some people are not driven as you are. Some of them are like, hey, job, great salary, great benefits. I'm good. So they don't understand when you say, I have to work on something right now, or I want to go further. Not saying that that's a bad thing. What I'm saying is they're happy where they're at, not looking to go forward. So this is different than someone who's moving forward in their career. You want like-minded people of what you value, how you look at learning, what you look at, what you would like to do. That's what you're looking for. Again, it's about balancing yourself, makes life easier. Also, trade connections are good because, especially those who've been in the game longer than you, I've used that with several of my students and clients, and what they were able to do is get a lot of valuable information. Yes, it's just like sales. You knock on doors and some folks will not give you the information, but there are those persons who will provide you information. They said if I had to do it all again, I would do something slightly different. Wasn't that they had bad businesses. Some of them were very successful. But they were just saying if they had the opportunity to do again, what they would do differently. What were some trial and error things that they learned that you could learn from their mistakes? Also, what are some good connections to do and how they can connect to you? Those are some great things that you want. And those persons are there to help you. Some of them have become actually advisors to some people. Find new mentors. Now that's easier said than done. I really haven't even had mentors that have been people who I touch and feel. But I have found mentors and people who I like what they're doing and what they've done. I read some of their books. I read their articles. I looked at what they did with the business. I also, when they did speeches, interviews, I looked at all those different things. When people compare them and use them as examples. And that's been very helpful. So your mentors can be people you touch and feel. These are the ones that help to guide and direct you. And many times it's informal, even though they have mentorship programs. It's informal, usually how you have your dialogue, what's usually going on. So sometimes when I look at some of the mentor programs, I'm like, that's really a coach more so than a mentor, but it's called a mentorship program. It's used interchangeably. But mentors are there to help you, to guide you, and they may have a set pattern of what they do, but the interaction and how they relate to you is where the informality comes, because they address those issues and see the things as you're going through. Remember, I talked about talking about your family and friends. You've got to prepare for responses for the negatives. Everybody doesn't come from a place where they're going to get heavy support. How are you going to respond to them? I know one lady, she mentioned like Thanksgiving is coming up. She said, you know how the family is. So they make it that they go there and they say 2 to 3 hours max. And they were out the door. Not that they don't love the family members and they even like them, but they understand them. So be prepared to what are you going to say to the negatives? Because otherwise that starts stressing you out. And especially when you say, I knew what I should have said. So what are some of the negative things people are going to have even about your business idea? Maybe the idea you're going into, not everybody's going to agree with. How are you going to respond to that? What are you going to say? To be prepared is a great thing. Who are your sponsors? Sponsors are those people who are willing to talk about you and for you when you're not around. They're the ones that when people are saying, hey, we need this, or do you know of anyone, they're willing to speak up for you. They're willing to say, this is a person that, I think you need to talk to. They're willing to back you up. So that's the essence of why they're sponsoring you. They are the ones that talk about you and get you in places that you didn't even know existed. But because they're there and they're at the table, they're willing to sponsor the fact that they know you're the one that can get the job done. So they are your cheerleaders. They believe in what you do. Get you some sponsors. Those are the ones that can get you in. Now, some of your sponsors may actually even come through your customers. What are you doing for your customers? Those are going to be very important. Get your stress relievers. Remember, I talked about the movie, about the balance, but I want to stress it here. Get you some stress relievers. Is it taking a bath, taking a shower? Sometimes I put on what I call nothing TV. I put on a comedy. I can't even tell you what it was about. Sometimes a comedy movie. I've gone through some of the old shows, Good Times, Sanford and Son, All in the Family, so many times, because sitting back and I straight through the episodes, I know it's still going to make me laugh to this day. Find your stress relievers. Get you a support system. Find you people who are willing to support you in what you do. They may be family, they may be friends, or you may draw in one of those connection and organizations. Those people that are willing to support you and hear what you have to say and help to motivate you to get even better in what you do. That support system is not just about those who are helping you work in the business. It's about those who are helping you take care of you also. So where and who are your support systems, and rely and utilize those support systems. Again, set you up your own time management, going back to balance and prioritizing. What is the time management system that works for you? So for example, when I schedule appointments, I have an hour, 30 minutes, sometimes it's 30, 15, depending on the type of appointments that I have. What are my backups for my time management? There are those of you who may have assistants, especially if it's something that you don't want to do. Procrastination is an issue. Have them to set things up and move forward. So then, therefore, they're helping you with your system. Not everybody likes to write everything down. They don't have organization structure. What's your system for your accounting, your finance? That saves time later on than you having to go back through things. It's about how does it work for you? It's not about anybody else and how they do it. How does it work for you? So now let's go to the business essentials about a business. The thing you have to always remember, the purpose of your business is to provide value, make sure it's fundable. So for a for-profit, that means profitable. For a nonprofit, that means those who are willing to donate, that you have net profits, as well as being able for both to get possibly grants. Are you fundable based upon the value you're providing from the perspective of the customers? And is it sustainable? Can you keep doing this? Can you continue to go forward with that? So that's the purpose for your business for as long as you're in business. Are you providing value? Is it fundable? And is it sustainable? When we look at that, you do that through the business planning process. Notice I didn't say business plan, it's business planning. Business plans are the end result of a business planning process. You plan what to do to put in the written document. So business planning is the thing that you will do as long as you're in business. You will have your concepts. You learn, think of how you're going to develop those concepts. Then you go about implementing them. Once you've implemented them, you assess them. How are things going? What's being done? What could be better? What could be added? Maybe some things need to stop. Maybe we need to pause it for a while. Assess what's going on, see what works for the business, say what you like, don't like. Then that creates the new concept of how you're looking at the business. It's perspective and what you're offering. And this is a constant cycle. As long as you're in business, you should be doing this. What are we offering? Are we still giving value? Let's continue to develop it. What do we need to add? Okay, now that we've developed it, let's put it out there, implement it. Okay, is it getting us the response we want? Are we getting what we need out of it? Are we getting more? Are we getting less? Are we right on target? All right, so let's go back to the concept. Do we keep it the same? Do we need to change it? As long as you're in business, you shall always be business planning. In the business planning process, we need you to figure out what is your business model. Not a business model, not even the business model. What is your business model? What's the unique value proposition you're giving to your customers? How is it unique? How is it different? What makes it different? McDonald's came out one of the first, it was fast food restaurant, but everything back in the day, McDonald's had to shoot and they just picked up. If you had a special order, you had to wait to the side for them to do that. Burger King kind of, that's why Burger King said, have it your way. We make it once you tell us what you want, and it's going to be flame broiled. Wendy's said, you know what? We're going to make sure everything is fresh. Our stuff is not going to be frozen. Hardy said, if you want to lose weight, that's not us. We are the meat people. Our burgers are full of meat. Understand who you are and what you are about. So give that unique value proposition. What are you offering that's unique from others? Chick-fil-A said, we'll do fast food, but our fast food is going to be based on chicken. Arby's said, we're going to be based on roast beef. Taco Bell said, we're going to do a Mexican flavor. What is unique about what you have to offer that's of value to your customers? Not from your perspective, but from their perspective. And then when you're looking at doing something new and different, and doing changes, what's the minimum viable product that you can provide? And this comes from the Lean Starter book by Eric Rice. This is about using the resources you have or have access to help make that minimum viable product. And the reason is because we don't want you to throw all your resources in it such that if you have to change, or as we say, pivot, you will know that you have additional latitude and flexibility to pivot. So we don't want you to put your all in all. People say, well, I gave it my all in all. But if something changes, that there was an opportunity that you saw while you were doing it, you lose out that potential. So we want you to say, what's the minimum viable product that you could do? not minimum viable product of anything, but of that vision you have. What's the minimum thing you could do of that vision? Just to give an example very quickly, let's say I use a doggy daycare all the time. Let's say I have nothing, I don't have anything I can start, and it costs, I found $150,000. But I could possibly walk dogs. I can babysit dogs at my home. I can babysit dogs at their place. I've had people that say mobile grooming, doggy taxi service, where you take the dogs to a doggy personal assistant, masseuse. That one got me when folks are like, oh yeah, folks are getting doggy massage. I can do exercise in the park for dogs if I want them to be, the healthiness is why they're bringing them. It's all about why your client is coming to you. Each of those things I mentioned was a different aspect of a doggy daycare that may occur, but based upon the customer base I believe I have access to, I can start any of those to help me start my doggy daycare. And then I may no longer want to do a brick and mortar. I might want to continue in the parks only. I might like to continue having dogs come to my house, going to your house. So there's a lot of different things that can come out when you do that minimum viable product, because it helps you to really see some of the opportunities you have access to. Remember, entrepreneurial mindset is what we want you all to have. Entrepreneurial mindset is not about you starting the business. Entrepreneurial mindset is about you looking at what are the problems, taking that problem and say, what are some potential ideas that can be used as solutions for this problem? And then looking to find the right solution to complete the puzzle. Notice the thing is find. Find means that you have to go through a discovery stage. So you need to go through the process of discovering what it is that you're doing. Even if you're already in business, is the idea or the products that you're providing, goods or services, still the right solution for the problems that you're solving? And is it completing the puzzle for the customer base? Things may have changed for your customers, or your customers may have changed. And what are some things you might need to change to be even better in what you're doing? So how do we do that? Entrepreneur is about solution focus while you're solving the problem. So you want to look at the problem to make sure what you're looking at is not a symptom, but actually the underlying problem and issue. Answer the questions: the who, what, when, why, with whom, for whom. Answer those questions, get information, and you want to go to the source, those people who are going to potentially be your customers, to have them to give you the answers. Look at all the information that you've gotten. Those are the pieces of the puzzle. Start to brainstorm some solutions. Notice the brainstorming of the solutions didn't come to after all this. Brainstorm some solutions, and then now you have the idea for what you need to develop for your business. From this and being that focused, you will now be able to provide a solution that the customer feels is valuable, that they then will say, your value proposition, I'm going to give you value, I'm going to give you dollars. That's what you want to do. So focus on solutions that provide value, not solutions that provide money. It's about providing value. Value is what's going to get people to translate into money to give you, because you're doing something valuable to them. So where we've gotten that idea, we need to make sure we know who your customers are. So that's when you go through customer development. And the 4 Steps to the Epiphany by Steve Blank is a great book that talks about it. Even though when you go through the process of discovering who your customers are, who you believe them to be, you need to validate that they're your customers. And validating they're your customers, then you can create them to become your customers to build a company. If you cannot validate who those customers are, you need to go back and discover them. Don't force it. It's not about forcing who your customers are to build your company, because it's the 80-20 rule. 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your customers. Problem is, and we did this with our first business, we go after the 80% of the customers, wondering why we were tired, didn't have a lot of money, we got aggravated, they also hassle us more than others, and then we saw we weren't making a lot of money. 80% of your customers give you 20% of the revenue. Those are people who come to you every now and then. They spend a little, they spend a lot. They only wanted you when you have a discount or a sale. They try you as a one-timer just to try you because you were there. They don't really value what you're doing. The 80% revenue from the 20% customers are those people who really value what you have, understand why you have the price point you do, and they will be great resources to tell you additional products and products that you can provide, the goods and services. So we want to know who those customers are. And we do that by defining who your primary and secondary customer segments are and what are their specific characteristics. You also have to know the difference between a customer and an end user. I use the daycare very quickly. Daycare is a place for children. That's not your customer, it's their parents. The way to know the difference between the customer and the end user is the one that's going to actually use it, but the customer is the one who has the money. Many times they are the same people, but whoever is paying you, that is your customer. Whoever's utilizing the product, goods or services may be the end user or the customer, but always look for who's giving you the money. That is who your customer is. So nonprofits, you have two customers, those who you provide the services to and the donors. So that's the double-edged sword. You are doing one thing for two people when you're a nonprofit. So when we're describing the customers, what are we doing? We're looking at whether it's because of behavior, that they want what we have of value. Maybe the benefits that you're providing. Maybe this demographic. We talk about gender, age, ethnicity, culture, but is that all? Maybe it is that geo-demographic. They're affluent, they're bohemian, be it they're established, the type of way you describe them, maybe where they're located. And the biggest one we don't think about a lot of time is the psychographic. What kind of lifestyle maybe people want, that's why they're your customer. The self-concepts they have of them and of their surroundings. What are their value systems that they look for things that support it? If those are the things that your customers are, that's the way you describe your customers. Don't just look at the demographic, the geographic, and the geodemographic. Look at, is it because of the benefits you provide, the behavior of who they are and what they do, or is it the psychographics as well as a combination thereof? Look at those things to describe your customers. The more you do that, the more you hone in on how to get to those customers and market to them. And that's why that's so important, because you then will look at, what about the name of my company? How would they feel about the name? Do we need to have a name for our business, but then a different trade name for some of the different things we offer? So we offer several things, but we want a different trade name for them. Trade name, and this is what we said, the services we provide are under this trade name and the products may be under another, but they're owned by the same company. What's your branding going to look like? Their expectation of what you should be like and how things should be. How are you going to brand it? That from a distance, your logo, they'll know that's you. Also that name. Let me say this, and we're going to be doing this on Sunday, talking about the name game. Just picking a name for your business and going to your Secretary of State's website to see if it's available is not the end game to say that's the name for me. There's several things you need to do. Come back out on Sunday and you'll hear more about that. Now we look at your product. What's the name for the product that you're providing? The goods and the services. Do they need to have a sub-name under the name of your business? What are you going to do about that? How are they going to, how will they receive it? Packaging. How are you going to package it? What is it going to look like? How is it going to be? Even if you're doing things online, how are you packaging them online? Are you separating things? How are you giving it to the people? All of this is going to be important as it relates to your customers and their expectation of you for being their customers. What's your prices going to be like? Now, let me pause here about prices. You have to have a game where you're going to make a profit in the prices. Otherwise, why are you even in this game? One of the things we want you to do when you're looking at this is we want to make sure you don't leave money on the table. Leaving money on the table is the fact of, yes, you're providing a price for the business and people are willing to pay, but they were willing to pay even more without you doing even more work. That's leaving money on the table. Yes, $12 may have given you what you needed for the product, but if they said, wow, I was expecting to pay 20, even if you go up to 16, that's $4 more per product. That's a win-win situation. They thought 20, you making 16. You were happy at 12. You were making a profit. You make more of a profit at 4. So knowing your customers, are you leaving money on the table? If we have customers that like things to be different, they don't want to be like everybody else. Are you leaving money on the table? Bugatti has no problem telling you, oh, it's $2.1 million for the sedan. And if you want the sports edition, it's 2.6. Why? Because they know their people like the fast car, handmade, and exclusivity. One ever comes out this year, never to be done again. And only 10 people in the world have it. So that's the piece that you have to look at that. The other piece that you have to look at is you don't want to give money away. Giving money away is that your customers would have been satisfied with some of the things that you were doing. However, you gave them more and more and more. They gladly take it, but they would have paid you more and more for it. So you're giving money away. Now, some of this is going to be based upon your value system. If you say, but I want my customers to have this, that's what sets them different. That's fine, as long as you're still making a profit. But I understand people may have been willing to pay more. So that's that CBA. The C level is customer satisfaction. They would have paid you the money, but they went to the B and the A level. So knowing that. And the low price conundrum. Low price is not the way that you want to go because you low price, somebody else come and low price you. Customers are only going to stay with you as long as you are the low price. So being low price for what you're doing is the conundrum that somebody else can always come back, as well as those who have more resources than you can come and undercut you for the pricing to get you out of the game, and then they take the price system back up. Even though there are laws against that, there are ways that people have done it where they're right there at that mark where they haven't gone against what the laws have said. So be careful about wanting to be the low price leader. Also, with the low price leader, you are going to have to give up a lot of things that you may want to do. Maybe you want to use made in America, made in the USA only. That's fine. Maybe you even want to use using your community, but the price point there is higher. You can't be low price. That's going to be a conundrum for you. So make sure that you look at how the pricing is going to be and how it's going to be set up. Placement becomes important. Where are you going to place the product so the clients can get them? That's going to be advantageous to them and what their expectation is going to be. Promotion, how are you going to promote it? How are you going to advertise it? Where are your customers advertising? Getting on social media is not it alone. Where are they on social media? That's how you want to set it up and determine where and what you're going to do. This is why knowing your customers is important. How are you going to position yourself that your customers will automatically think about you when they hear some things, come to you, and even refer other people to you? How are you positioned in the industry? And what are the people like that you bring into your business, working for your business, with your suppliers? Who are they and what are they and how are they in the place? Those are the P's of marketing, and a marketing section would be great for telling you more about that. Now, what I need you to know from the financial point of view, and we went over this yesterday, but I'm not going to presume everyone was there, is you need to know the difference between accounting and finance. We talk about you knowing your financials and finances and funding, but accounting and finance are two different things. Accounting is looking at what you've done with the money, taking your transactions, recording it, categorizing it, summarizing it, and then verifying the information and putting it into financial statements. Those statements will be analyzed. Finance says, where are we getting this money from that we need, and what will we do with the money? So how are we going to acquire and manage the funds we have and utilize it to make decisions and recommendations for what we need to do to improve and or grow our business, to get, especially to take on projects, hire employees. These are all the different things. So accounting and finance are two different areas. Areas of finance, they're going to help you track your income and expenditures. Keep it talking about record keeping, the records you need to keep, how long you need to keep them, what you need to do with them, and bookkeeping, how are you putting that information in so it can go into the financial statements. They're going to make sure you following statutory compliance, the GAAP, which is generally accepted accounting principles. What are they? What are the government statutes are? What do they say you have to do? And that varies from state to state, as well as what does your industry require for you to do. They're going to also talk about what your funding sources need. Are you in compliance with them? Then they provide those financial information through the statements that's used by management, the government, and your funding sources. Your finance people will tell you where you should get your funds from, yourself, banks, investors, how much you can handle of that, what's the payout needs to be, what the terms and conditions should be. They're going to analyze the financial health of the business in itself, as well as others in the industry. How are you controlling the finance and your cash flowing in and out? They have to make recommendations of when projects should be done, when you should look at investments. So in the end, they're saying what you need to spend, where you need to spend, and when you need to spend your money. What's important about finances is you also need to have a budget. How are you going to allocate those funds that you need? How are you going to allocate the funds are going to be based upon how you bring the money, when the money is coming in, how healthy your business is, as well. So that's how others are going to look at you. How are you controlling your finances? And then the recommendation for other projects. So you want to have those budgets in place. Here are an example of several different budgets. They all come together to make a master budget, and they handle the different parts of the budgets. Want to make sure you saw that is not one thing for a budget. There's several things that come together to make a master budget. Make sure you go through when you're going to make those long-term projects, how your cash is flowing, where's your revenue going, well, how about your expenses, looking at your financial statements, budgeting them. And the reason this is all important because we want to analyze and review them later. You want to evaluate how you're performing. You want to evaluate it's not just at the end of the year, on a continuous basis that's an alignment with your business. Some people have to look at it every week. Some look at it every month, and some of the people say, that's a lot. Well, that's because for their industry, they need to catch things before it becomes a problem. Before they do damage control, they're actually catching it before it becomes a problem. Making sure you're doing statutory compliance, making sure that you're creating and assessing those budgets. How are you hitting the numbers? What happened? Why were things better? Why were things worse? Why were things kind of shaky? Stopping things before they become a problem. Look at the trends in your business. Are there times when you get more or less? Understanding and discovering where those trends are. Then develop your future projections. These are all essential. Why is this important? Because it helps you to set realistic goals. Because sometimes you do better and it's more better to be conservative. If you get more, guess what? That's more for you to utilize later. You want to definitely compare what you budgeted with what actually happened. Compare yourself also to what's in the industry. Be honest with yourself. This is not time to puff up. You need honesty because you don't want to go in and end up doing something where you're later going to be doing damage control, or you end up blowing a whole lot of money that you could have used somewhere else, or missing opportunities. Be flexible. Be open to change. Change in all the different things that you do. Set a timetable that you're going to set where you're going to go back and review and assess this information, and then keep to that timetable. This is why this may be something that you want to outsource for a bookkeeper to do for you, because then you're coming just to do the review and assessment of what is going on with your business. Now let's talk about the statutory. These are things that's essential for a business from a government point of view. You need to register your business. If you're a sole proprietor, you need to follow your county as well as the state regulations for how do you register your business. So proprietorships for many places are done in the county where you're located. However, every state is different. In the state of North Carolina, we get our form for the Secretary of State. We register it in the county. We can do it for the whole state now through that county. And then that county informs the Secretary of State, so that information is there. What are the local government permits or requirements that you have to have for your type of business? Be it the city, town, county, state. What are those things that you need to have in place? Even though some places require privilege licenses, so you need to make sure you have that. State of North Carolina does not require that, but I know we have people from other places. Follow your local government permits. Some places and counties have that if you are a home-based business, you have to register your home-based business. Those are forms you must complete in order to be in compliance that you are a home-based business. Also, if you're a home-based business and you live in a subdivision where you have mandatory homeowners association dues, that means you have restrictive covenants that you may abide by. Please review those covenants, because by buying a house in that neighborhood, you said you were going to abide by their rules and regulations. And many of them have what you can and cannot do with a business in your neighborhood. As simple as the fact one young lady found out when she paused to go home one evening because her vehicle broke down and she kept the vehicle overnight. She got a little ding from her homeowners association. No vehicles advertising any business can be in the driveways overnight, only if they're coming to do business, which means like if you have an inspector or things of that nature. So you need to find out what that homeowner association declaration say. You get your employer identification number from the IRS. You can do that online and it will come immediately. Please do download the PDF. I also say email that PDF to yourself. So if you're ever away from the office and you need that information, go ahead and put that in. Then the next thing you want to do is get a sales and use tax ID. If you have to pay sales tax, you want to go ahead and do the sales tax and get that information from them. You do that on a monthly basis. Even if you have zero sales tax, you go ahead and still let them know that the sales tax is zero. You get the withholding number from the Department of Revenue for your state also, which is meaning that you're going to withhold taxes for those people who are there. Those people who are going to be your employees is what I mean. The other thing is that you want to do the industry boards. You need to check with them for your industry, whether or not there's some compliance that you have to do. Some, for example, professional organizations like attorneys, as well as those who are doctors, accountants, have a board they have to go to. You typically have to register with that board, your business, and they will tell you what to do next, and going to the to the Secretary of State. Usually your renewal and things are with them, because what they are doing is certifying that the owners are in good standing for the business. Okay. The others are government regulations that departments, like for example, if you're in the food industry, you may have to go to Health and Human Services or Department of Agriculture. You need to follow their rules and regulations. And then if you are a nonprofit, you need to do a charitable solicitation license in order for you to solicit donations. Now, if you're going to operate in more than one state, you have to do this in every state you plan to operate for all of these items that are registering the business, local government permits, if it's going to be a home base in that area, if there's an industry board there, if they have government regulation departments, and if you're going to get charitable solicitation, you must do that. I also recommend all these documents, when you get them, email them to yourself. So if you ever go somewhere and you need a copy of it for anyone, you can go ahead and send that out. So essentials for the business, I'm just going to go down the list. Have you an accounting system for bookkeeping and record keeping. Set you up an action list that has timelines, as well as who you're delegating those responsibilities to. Make sure those timelines are smart. Be agile and flexible. Things change, people change. You want to make sure you're addressing the needs of the customer, not you. You are not your customer. It's not about how you want the business. You're not paying for the business. If you are, you're a hobby. Make sure you have a bail system, because you want to bail these people in before they have to bail you out, which is going to cost you more. Who are the bankers that you can go and ask questions? An accountant, who's the insurance agent that you have, and the lawyer. Get these folks in place. It's not about you retaining them per se. It's about who do you have that they can answer questions that will bail you in, which takes bail you into the right way of doing things before they have to bail you out of the problems that you get into. Get you a brainstorming team. Who are the people you can talk to that can give you information, direction, guidance, and things of that nature? Do your business planning over the business plan. Do your business planning through business modeling. I've already talked about these things. Do a business plan and strategic plan. Do your marketing plan. Do your operations plan. Do all the different plans for your business and have an action plan with a timeline with them. Remember the 80-20 rule, your customer discovery. Discover who they are. Make sure you have efficient, effective, and proficient processes in place for all the things that you do to make sure your business runs smoothly for you. Do your financial management. Always hope for the best, but make sure you prepare for the worst. We want to make sure that if something happens, you've already prepared for it. That's what insurance is about. Insurance is not about you having an accident, but it's preparing for, in the case there is one, you have it. So in your business, have your contingency plans in place. Do the lean approach to new ideas. Anytime you're adding new customers, new locations, new products, new services, make sure you do that. Discover opportunities that are available. Review and assess everything you have. Always do things from a strategic plan perspective. Get with your customers. They can help you test, observe, and give you feedback about what you're doing, give you new ideas as well as marketing strategy. And last but not least, wealth planning over profit planning. You want to be sustainable and keep going. That is, be consistent with this, timely, document, justify, and certify everything you do. Write it down on a consistent basis and go back and review. Well, that is my time for today. I took the hour to present the information. I didn't see any questions, but I hope it was beneficial to you. If you need any of our service, we're with the North Carolina Business Center. This is our website. Anyone in the state of North Carolina, we provide free prepaid services to you of counseling, seminars, workshops, and access to resource. And I'm at the Durham Tech Small Business Center listed. Thank you all for giving me this opportunity to be here. And I hope you all have a great, wonderful day. And I hope to see some of you on Sunday. Have a great day. Mr. Eric, we can't hear you.
Thank you for that too. As I was saying before, a lot of times I'm muted because I'm doing some other things, but I was saying in my head that, some of the stuff that you were talking about is some of the stuff we all need. And again, as I continue to say, I'm a time guy. I'm going to move on. Thank you very much. I'm going to bring up the next lady. And we look forward to seeing you on Sunday. And of course, as we move on and on to the break, I'm not going to say of dawn because we're going to do this 24/7 deal. And we bring on Dr. Shamika Turner-Williams. Shamika, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm excited.
And we're excited. We're very, very excited to have you. Look forward to your presentation, and I'll see you on the other side.
Absolutely. Once again, I want to say good evening to each and every one of you. My name is Dr. Shamika Turner-Williams. I'm definitely excited to be here today for the Black Business Expo. So many great things are going on. So many great things have been happening for the whole week, for the entire marathon. So if you have not had the opportunity to join in and to watch the different sessions, I do encourage and advise you to join in with us because it has been phenomenal. There has been a wealth of information that has been given, and it's definitely something that's truly needed in the business industry. So I encourage each one of you to tune in. Once again, I'm Dr. Shamika Williams, and I'm excited to be here on today to share with you the information that I have. Want to give you a moment just to invite everyone, just to tag someone and just to share. Let them know that we're here, that they can come on in, that they can come on over. Let them know that you're here and we're waiting on them. So we're going to go ahead on and get started. Once again, I don't want to hold you long, but I am Dr. Shamika Turner-Williams. I am the CEO and the founder of Next Level Coaching and Consulting. And what we do at Next Level Coaching and Consulting is that we're a global business that is geared towards business and leadership development. So we work with the top CEOs, the top entrepreneurs, the top executives in order to help assist them with dramatically growing and increasing their business, increasing their staff administratively, financially, and developing the people overall so that the company can see growth and increase also in the finances. So we're definitely excited for the clients that we do have. I'm also a nonprofit founder of Pearls of Purpose, Inc. And what we do is we cater to the women and children of domestic violence and of abuse. We provide education, resources. We bring awareness to the issue that's facing today's society that so many others are looking over and they're not talking about it. I'm also a published author 3 times with She Wrote Publishing. I'm a book coach. I'm also a ghostwriter. That's just some things that I love to do. So I do thank the Black Business Expo for the opportunity to even be here today to share with you the information how it was given to me. So I'm definitely excited with you today. So thank each and every one of you for joining us again. So as you've been noticing all week, this has been a marathon that they've been talking about. You have some of the greatest individuals from all over the country that have been joining in, that have been giving you insight, that have been giving you tools, that have been giving you resources, strategies, and tips in order to sustain your business, to grow. It's all information that we all need in today's society in order to be successful entrepreneurs and businessmen, women, leaders, humanitarians, whatever it is that you're doing in your own right. But I want to come and just talk with those today, those entrepreneurs. So I want everybody to just tune in and to listen. It's so much that has been going on today. And I just want to take a moment just to chat with you about there's no stopping us now. Ain't no stopping us now. And so all week you have been hearing from various individuals. They've been talking about the business aspect. But today and all week we're here from one commonality, and that is to highlight and to honor those men and those women in business today, because it takes grit, it takes determination to even be an entrepreneur, to be a businesswoman or businessman, especially during this time right here during the pandemic, everything that has been going down. So many businesses are shutting down. They're trying to see how to shift and pivot to the next level. So this is definitely, the Black Business Expo has been a blessing to help assist those individuals. But like I said, today and all week, my fellow colleagues, entrepreneurs, they have been discussing, they have spoke so wonderfully about the great insight, the tools, and the information. They have actually been a voice for those that were speaking. They have been a voice for those that have been giving you information. But today, I want to come here and I want to stand with you and I want to speak with you and be a voice for the voiceless. I want to stand with you today in business as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, and be able to speak to you in reference to those that don't have a voice, in reference to those that you have not heard of, in reference to those that are overlooked, in reference to those that are building, yet they are not being seen, for those that are building and their voices are being crowded out or muffled because of all the noise that's going on. So I want to stand with you today to talk to you about and for the ones that no one hear, the ones that no one are seeing, the ones that no one are looking at in business, that's building, that's working behind the scenes diligently, that's putting their hands to the plow. So I want to talk to you about those individuals there. It's no stopping us now. So even as for women that are in business, women that are entrepreneurs, we all know that they face a little bit more fight. Their challenges are sometimes a little bit greater. So today is not to exclude the men, because we know that the men have their own voice and their own experience that they're able to speak to. But today I'm going to talk to the women entrepreneurs, the women that are in business, the women that are so diligently working behind the scenes, to the women entrepreneurs that are building, to the women entrepreneurs that are the backbone to society, that are the backbone in corporate America, that are the backbone to our culture, to our history. So I want to talk to those individuals right there. I want to talk to the woman that's building, the woman entrepreneur that no one sees, that's not getting any applause. I want to talk to the woman entrepreneur that everybody's overlooking. No one has seemed to notice her as she's building, as she's staying firm in what she knows to do and what she's been called to do. So I want to talk to that individual that no one ever acknowledges what you're doing, or they don't even see what you're doing behind the scenes in order to sustain others. So that entrepreneur, that woman in business, I want to speak to you today just to encourage you and just to give you insight on things that are going on. So as we know, women in business have been around for years, for centuries, since the beginning of time. And I'm going to get with you in a little bit about that, about the impact that those that have come before us have paved the way in order for us to be sustainable into business and to build our business. I want to talk to that one that for every milestone that you have crossed or that you have accomplished, that there was no one there to meet you at the finish line to say, hey, congratulations, to say, hey, job well done, to say, I see what you're doing, your plan, your product, or your model is working. I want to talk to that one there that seems to finish the finish line, but yet there's no one there to meet them. Because guess what? We know that anytime that you're running a race, it's easy to run a race, and it's easy to complete that race when you have a crowd of individuals waiting for you at the finish line, cheering on, hurrah, hurrah, congratulations. It's easy to do that then. But what about those that are building and those that are in the race and they're going to the finish line of whatever their entrepreneur endeavor is, and yet there's no one there? That woman, that individual that's starting from the bottom to build up to make her way to the top. She's starting from building with mud, but yet what is she trying to do? She's trying to take that mud and she's trying to make it into makeup. She's trying to make it a beautiful creation, a beautiful product that she's sitting here working for. So there's no stopping women today in business. There's no stopping the entrepreneurs that are putting their foot to the plow and that they're working to build their business, their brand, whatever that may be. So with that being said, so today, once again, I want to speak to those individuals. I want to speak for the voiceless, those that aren't able to speak for themselves. I want to speak on behalf of those that are even speaking from the grave, those great women that were great inventors, that were great business women that started way back then since history's time. I want to speak for those that were overlooked even in their business, or others have taken credit for what they have been building on. So those women that paved the way for success, like I said, for us on today. So with that being said, there are so many women out there that are known, that are yet hidden. They're hidden figures. They're not known everyday language. Their names sometimes have been forgotten. It's different products and different services that we use every day, and we overlook or don't even know who those women are that are contributed to being the inventors of those items. So to those ones that have been forgotten about, those ones that are overlooked, but guess what? Their work still lives on today. And so that's the same for some of you individuals that's out there that's building your business, that's looking and seeing that I don't have anyone to support. I don't have anyone to help build with me. And those, so you're looking as if you are alone in this walk or in this journey. And we all know that it's hard being an entrepreneur, it's hard being in business. But I want you to know, and I know that many can agree, that you already have everything that you need on the inside of you in order to sustain and in order to keep your business going and to keep your business afloat. So even during the midst of this pandemic here, it has challenged many of us to go back to the drawing board, to go back to the table, to see how we can reinvent some things in order to make sure that the business doesn't fall to the ground. So it has forced us during this time to be creative as business women and business women, to sit up there and come up with creative ideas and different ways to reach our audience, as well as to reach our clientele, because that's what a visionary does. That's what a businesswoman and a business entrepreneur, that's what they're going to do. When hard times are facing or things are going on, they're going to go back to the drawing table and say, you know what, how can I pivot? What do I need to do in order to ensure that I can still reach my next level, even in the midst of chaos, even in the midst of everything seems like it's falling apart? You still have to build. And that's what entrepreneurs and that's what the businessmen and women are doing. They are building in spite of the adversities. They are building in spite of the hardships, the trials, and the tribulations, because who told you that you could not do it? Who told you that you did not have what it takes? So we have to look at that as being, when we're entrepreneurs and when we're building, we have to make sure that we understand the value that we have and the value that we bring to the table. We have to understand and know our strengths, even understanding our weaknesses, not focusing on them, but know that we do have them. Because a lot of times in business, we focus on the wrong thing. So with that, just speaking for those that can't even speak for themselves. So even as you are entrepreneurs and business women, there are going to be times, many of times, where you're going to have no support, limited support, if any, during this process and during this road right here. So we know that even in that problem right there, you have to keep going. You have to endure until the end. You can't stop in the middle of your building phase. You can't stop in the process, because you'll never get to the other side. You'll never see what's your next step or your next level is going to be. So it's definitely a task. Being an entrepreneur is definitely a task, being any woman in business. But you have to keep in mind the reason why you're doing what you're doing, who you're serving, who is your audience, your why. Your why. What's your why for doing what you're doing? So once again, just talking about some things, like I stated today, women have been proven to be unofficially who they are. And I'm explaining to that what that means. So today, many women already unofficially have operated in just about every role and every capacity. Once again, they have talked about every role. They've operated in every role and every capacity. So we know that women have faced so many biases in the field of business in corporate America. There's been so many biases that's been going on for centuries, since the beginning of time. And we already know that it's been difficult for even women to operate in the business field, into the corporate world and entrepreneurship, because just of being a woman, because we face so many biases against us already. And we're going to talk a little bit about those individuals' biases in just a moment. But while gender roles have been depicted as men more fit for certain fields, like in leadership and things of that nature, or politics or academia, the women have often been overlooked in those departments. But we're going to still talk to those women out there that don't have a voice right now, or even if you try to speak, your voice is drowned out by the next individual. They're not hearing what you're saying. Sometimes as women, we always have to constrain ourselves in business because we don't want to appear to be a certain way. So we have to talk. Sometimes we are forced to talk or downplay our language or our conversation because we appear sometimes as aggressive. We appear as we are too hungry for success. So we often have to switch up as to our presentation in it, versus many times our male counterparts is achieved, that's perceived as being, that's just great leadership, or that's just an individual that has a drive to succeed. But I want to talk to those women out there that are succeeding and you don't even know that you're succeeding in business. So I'm going to stop right there for just a moment. And who told you what success looks like? No individual can tell you what success looks like in your life, because there's not a blueprint or a market for success. And quite often we're searching and we're seeking for success when, guess what? Success has already found us. What success in my life may not be success in your life. So once again, women have been the backbone structure of corporate America. Not only corporate America, they've been the backbone structures of the home for centuries at a time. There's pretty much no field that a woman has not been unofficially perfected in. And I said that before, so I'm going to tell you what that means. Just about every field, every business field, every entrepreneur field there is, women have unofficially perfected that field. So you want to think back to even the beginning of times when women had the ability to reserve money on limited resources, on limited income for their families. They had the ability to reserve money. No, they didn't wear suits. They didn't have the degrees back then, or they didn't have all the makeup or the cosmetics that we felt like they should have, but they were able to triage money from one location to the next. They were, you might as well say, they were the accountants. They were the first accountants. The women, the mothers, raising families, trying to put finances and money together in order to make the families sustainable. So they were your accountants during that time right there. They didn't have the degrees, but they had something on the inside of them that they knew how to make money work for them and how they had to make money work for their families. All right. So I even want to talk to about the first African-American woman that was a banker. Her name was Maggie Lena Walker. She was the daughter of a slave. I'm gonna say that again. She was the daughter of a slave, but she was the first Black African-American woman that was to run a bank. You can look her up, Maggie Lena Walker. And even with that being said, at that time, she was overlooked. She wasn't able to speak and voice herself as she needed to or would have liked to, because she had so many forces that was running against her. But behind the scenes, she was working, she was building when no one else saw her, when no one else even knew who she was. She was the daughter of a slave. They didn't expect much to come from her. And so even in business today, the underdog, the one that you overlooked, the one that you have forgotten about, the underdog is the one that's building, and they're going to bring in the revenue. They have a need for the people. And so they took on the initiative, even in a quiet time of being overlooked, even in a time that no one knows who they are. They were steadied yet building. So unofficially, women were some of the first accountants, being able to take money, to place it here, being able to making sure they know how to keep record of it, to keep track of it. The women were the first ones to unofficially, once again, unofficially be an accountant. We can even go ask and talk about other areas that women have been unofficially perfected in. What about culinary? Being a chef. I know you might be thinking, well, what is Dr. Williams talk about? Unofficially, women have perfected those fields. And you want to know why? How about that mother that's cooking and preparing for the family? She's that chef unofficially, day in, day out. She's preparing some of the most elegant and gourmet meals for her children. She's planning and she's cooking for different special events. The woman, the mother. But quite often that is overlooked. That's not seen as something that's deemed to be an individual or woman that's building business. No, yes, we have been building businesses from the beginning of time, because if you can answer to the problems of your home, you can build a business. If you can solve solutions to whatever the problems may be in society, that's building business. So once again, even when the mother or the woman is preparing for her children, and when she's clothing them, when she's designing their outfits, she's the first designer. Yet unofficially, she's the first designer. We can even take it even further into different fields that women have been in: agriculture, planting, farming. So you see that there's not one area that a woman has not succeeded in, or that a woman has not excelled in unofficially, because everything that they have done, they have tapped into somehow. And guess what? She also did it with limited resources. She did it with limited support. But as we look over time, we have grown through the cracks of those times. We have progressed, taking our little and building and making it much. So women have been doing a great job with professional development and building themselves. It's sort of like the weeds that have been growing through the cracks. You can spray weed killer on it all day. You can try to kill it, but it's something about those weeds. They still come back over and over again. So that's the makeup of even being a female entrepreneur, a woman in business. No matter what's thrown on you, or no matter how they try to kill your strength, they try to kill your drive, you still are growing and yet moving to your next level. You're going through the cracks, the unexpected one. So it's no matter what environment many have been in, women are excelling at a higher rates now. They are excelling. So unofficially, we have been holding those positions in those spots for so many times. So another thing, women have been finding a way to make it happen. Their perseverance, their resilience, being knocked down and being knocked back in business and entrepreneurship, and is definitely a road. But the resilience and being able to bounce back just shows the strength and the determination of being an entrepreneur, being a woman in business. Because quite often, many times, you can't walk in a certain light, because they're going to label you as being, she's too hungry for success, or she's too hungry for the platform. No, but women, they're building. So that's where many biases come in with women. It's so many that they have to face even here today in business and entrepreneurship. There's just so many, but yet they're still overcoming. There's no stopping us now. Ain't no stopping. That's the song. Ain't no stopping us now. So there's no stopping to what a woman can do once she's been determined and once she set her mind to succeed and excel. So I just wanted to touch bases with you with just a little bit of that information as far as being a voice for the voiceless, being able to speak for those that can't even speak for themselves many times because they have to quiet themselves, or they have to mute themselves, or they can't speak in certain environments, they can't speak in certain settings as if they wanted to. But this is a time now that many are being raised up and they're leading multi-million-dollar corporations. They're leading multi-million-dollar businesses and organizations. Quite often, many times, the women they are the backbone of the culture of the society. They're the ones that's keeping everything running behind the scenes. You don't see them. You don't hear quite often a lot of times about them, but it's that woman that has the answer that's moving forth and taking things to the next level. So this has definitely been a time. Now, if you can even see what's going on in the world today, women are rising up in unexpected areas and unexpected platforms in business, and they're making it happen. They're making it happen. So if you look from the beginning of time, also, women have been broken. They have made it on broken pieces. They have been still building on broken pieces. They have still been planning on broken pieces. It's something on the inside of the makeup of a woman that still will allow them to create and build even in those broken places. So we look at those that were before us, even though they were broken, they still were able to build. So imagine this right here. If you were able to make it on broken pieces, if you were able to build that business on broken pieces, imagine what you can do now while you're made whole. Imagine what you can do now that you have been put back together. Now that you have the proper tools and the resources that is needed for business, imagine what you can do then and operate. There's no stopping us now. There's no stopping us now. We can go to the next level. We can go to the next limit, whatever that may be. There's no restraints. There's no constraints on women in business today. Regardless of all the biases that we're facing, they still have that tenacity to get up and go. There's no stopping us now. I don't know about you, but the resilience that have been displayed for women entrepreneurs and business women, many times they have been doing the work. They're behind the scenes, they're building. They have the work ethics, but they just don't have the honor, or they don't have the title. I'm gonna say that again. They don't have the honor or the title, but they have the deeds. They have the work that has been done. They have the deeds. So now give that woman her honor, give her her title. If we did it then, we can definitely do it now. And that's the great thing about this Black Business Expo. So many great individuals, women that have been leading all across the country have come up and given you just strategies and blueprints on what it takes to build that successful business, to build it to the next level. They have given great information. So the ones that were once in the back, they're now coming to the front. So even we're creating legacies against all odds, against all the statistics. We're moving to the next level. We're defying the odds. We're beating the odds. We were making it in places that we once could not survive. That's the resilience of being a woman in today's society, in today's culture, with entrepreneurship and business. And so we definitely want to make sure that we're supporting those, and we're speaking on behalf of those today that can't speak for themselves, that can't sit up and come to you and let you know what they have or what they're doing because they're behind the scenes working. No one really sees them. No one really notices that they're there. But I just want to give you a couple more individuals that have paved the way, that are the voices that are still speaking to today's society. We want to talk about Mary Anderson. She was one of the individuals that invented the windshield wipers. Don't too many people hear about her and know about her, but her work still speaks for itself on today. As you're driving down the road and it's raining and it's storming out there, and you put on that windshield wiper, that was a woman that invented that, but the credit wasn't given to her. Even Margaret E. Knight, she was an individual that invented the flat bottom of the grocery bag. Her invention was stolen by a man. She did all of the work. She had it in production, and she had a friend of hers that came to her factory and stole her patent, went and got a patent for himself. So as you can see, women have been doing it for so long, and you got various individuals that will come take the credit for what it is that, hey, they have been doing. So we have natural biases that we're facing. We have corporate biases that women have been facing. You have moral biases that women have to endure and that they have to go through. So we have unofficially, though, conquered all of those biases. If you look back from the beginning of time until now, and you see the progress in the process of women, they have conquered those. They're conquering and still conquering today, and even more futuristically, the biases that we have to face. So, and I know you said, well, what does this all have to do? This all has to do with the woman that's continuing to build, that's continuing to create a legacy, to create her businesses, even for her children and her children's children. So we have unofficially conquered all of those biases. Think about that mother. She's conquered being a counselor. Think about that mother that has the children, or that woman that cares for children. And this individual has to counsel the child. She has to be there for the child. She has to talk to them about the issues, the things that they are facing. She was the first counselor unofficially. She built the business on counseling. She built the business on triaging the issues of her family. And so when we sit up and look at all of the things that a woman has done, is absolutely amazing. So she's also been the first attorney. She's the first DA. She's the first lawyer. That woman, that mother, she has to sit here and she has to get in the midst of, what about when the children are fighting over toys and they're going at each other? The mother has to be the judge and she has to be the DA at the same time. So unofficially, she has conquered those roles. She has to be the DA for one, and then she has to be the prosecuting attorney for the other. And then she's setting judgment for each and every one of them. So women unofficially have conquered those positions if you look at it since the beginning of time. So right then you can see the mother, that woman, she has 4 roles that she was playing, or careers that she was involved in unofficially at that time. She's the counselor, she's the attorney, she's the DA, she's the judge. So you can't tell me that women can't build and make something great. They can't lead businesses. You can't tell me they can't lead corporations, because they definitely can. Or what about that mother that has limited finances or resources during Thanksgiving, and once again she's able to maneuver it around and still make meals for her family? Like I said, she's the accountant and she's the chef. So we're going to even talk about, what about the mother that is the planning a birthday party for her children? She's getting it all elaborate. She got every detail. She has all of the balloons. Guess what? She's an event planner. So we have held every role that there is possible. Yes, she's the event planner. So what about when she is planning for the party and then no one shows up? And then that child is all distraught about, oh, nobody came to see me. No one came to support. So not only does she have to go and counsel them again, but now she has to be the troubleshooter. She has to go in, she has to solve that problem, and she has to solve that issue. So the women have been carrying so many roles in society, starting in their homes. It has been absolutely amazing just to sit here and see. So you can't tell, I'm speaking for the voiceless, for those that can't speak for themselves, for those that are quite often overlooked. I'm talking to you, to that entrepreneur today, that you can rise up, you can take your place. Everything that you're doing and everything that you are going to continue to do is working for the betterment of you now. Every little piece is being put in place. So yes, you can do it. Yes, you can build. Yes, you can make it happen with limited to no support or no resources at all. But once you start going, the thing about it is you're going to start and need to be connected to those individuals that can help pour into you, or that can help point you in the right direction. So until that time that the support comes, you have to continue to take every step. Every step that you're making is a step that's going closer and closer to your next level. It can be done. So unofficially, we have had so many positions. We have operated in so many levels. So we're just created to be that way. So now with the background that I've just given you about, there's no stopping us now. We're going to be women that are going to be leading on purpose and with purpose. There's no stopping. There's no limits to the things that you can do as an entrepreneur. So with that being said, now I want to speak to the entrepreneur who is building. They have started their process. They have been in it for some time, or even that businesswoman that has been in it for some time, but you feel like it's not going anywhere. You feel like you're at a glass ceiling. You feel like you're stuck. You feel like you don't even have clarity. So I just want to talk to you for a moment. You are already in a place of success and you don't even know it. Let me say that again. You're already in a place of success and you don't even know it. You have already become what you want to be. You are already what you want to be. I don't care if you have to start in your basement, start somewhere. Look at these, the ones that have these Fortune 500 companies now. They didn't start where they are now. They started from somewhere. So if you have to start in your basement, if you have to start in your home, start, begin. Don't despise your small beginnings. And one of the killers to success can be the fact that we're looking at our success and we're comparing it to the next person's. No, your success is your own. So for that entrepreneur, for that business man or that businesswoman, just start the process. Doesn't matter how you start, doesn't matter when it began, just begin it. And don't let anyone tell you that you're not on the right track. Yes, things may not be working out for you right now. That's okay. Keep plowing. You have to give it time. You have to give it time. Don't just do it for 3 to 6 months and say, you know what, it's not working. When you're building businesses and when you're trying to, even if you're already in business and you're trying to take it to the next level, you have to make sure that you're being consistent in what you're doing. Be consistent in what you're doing. Continue to work even when you don't see the results, because guess what? Somebody that's on the outside may be looking, they see your movement. A lot of times when you're in it, you aren't able to see the movement. You aren't able to see your progress. But just know that it's being done. Don't despise your small beginnings. Just start wherever it may be for you to begin your process, to begin your business, begin there, start there. Even if you're already in business and you're stuck and you're at a level now where you know what, I don't even know what to do anymore, go back to the drawing board. Go back to the drawing board and start again. So there's no role that a woman has not succeeded and excelled in her own right. So that you're going to tell me then that there's no way that any of the biases that we face as women in business and entrepreneurship can stop you. Because you can see from the beginning of time, we can overcome anything. We have the resilience to bounce back. We have the resilience to keep on going. We have that grit to be determined to succeed and excel in whatever area it is that we put our hands to. So if you feel like you aren't making progress, you are. Keep going. Don't stop. So just think about it. Even think about back then in the time your mother or the woman was the first coach. She was the first life coach. You know, she started out coaching the baby along in certain processes and things that the child has to go through. But then when the child starts to get older and they're 16, 17, 18 years old, now she has to help them because their hearts have been broken. They're going through things in life or various issues. So now the mother has to be the life coach. So this woman was unofficially the first life coach. Before life coach even came to be talked about, women were doing it. Before many of these roles and titles and positions were being thought of, women were doing it in their homes. They were making ways out of no way. Unofficially, they have conquered those roles and they have conquered those titles and those various positions. So women have grown and they've overcome in businesses. We never have lost our grit. We never lose our passion to do so. So the voiceless, the one that's not able to speak for herself because she's tired. That woman is business that's been doing it for about 10 years, 11 years, but they don't see any results. They're tired. I encourage you keep on going, because you're at the brink of your breakthrough. You're at the brink of your next level. If you made it on broken pieces and you made it while you were broken, you definitely can make it in wholeness. So you're on the brink of your next level. Of course, yes, no one supports you. It gets lonely at the top. It gets lonely when individuals don't understand your process or something new that you have embarked upon. You did all that you're doing, you done it in the dark. So it's easy for you now when you get into the light for people to see what you're doing. You did it with no support, no applause. You did it without any cheerleaders. You did it without anyone on your side. You did it without anyone helping you or trying to get you to the next level. Matter of fact, you had individuals that could have helped you but didn't. And that's going to happen. As a matter of fact, you had individuals that will sabotage your destiny or your process or your business building because they see the greatness that's already attached to you. And so sometimes envy and jealousy creep in. And what does that individual do? They'll sabotage you. And you would think that they're giving you strategies and information to help you be successful, when all along, no, they're giving you something that could be potentially dangerous to your business, being dangerous to the thoughts or your ideas that you have. So once again, what you have is already on that. What you need is already on the inside of you. You are what you see in your head already. So just think about it. Even when you were growing up, what was that thing that you were always doing? So you've already done what you see yourself doing. You just did it at a different level then. I can remember even being a young girl. I was always the leader. I was always in charge of something. I just was. People just saw that in me. I was always trying to create. I was always trying to build some type of business at 5 and 6 years old. I remember when a young girl just get in the newspaper, I would go copy the same exact things that were on the newspaper. I would put it on notebook paper. I would roll it up and I would go around in the neighborhood and sell it. And at the time I thought I had invented something. I thought I had created something new, but just because I had that grit, the neighbors bought it. I just simply copied the information that was in the newspaper, put it up and wrote it up on some notebook paper and went around to the doors and said, do you want to buy my paper? I didn't know what I was doing then. But that showed me, or that gave me a glimpse of my future and what I was going to be today. Business. I've always been the one that was able to, women would come to me or to talk to me and help them figure out what's their next step, what's their next strategy. As a young girl, friends would always flock to me. That was my future then. I just didn't know it and I just didn't see it. So don't despise your small beginnings. Don't despise where you are. Don't let anyone make you feel as if you're not achieving in your own right. And how do we really know to the point that how the impact or how successful we are? That's when we've gone from this world, when we've transitioned on and they're talking about us in books. They're talking about you in magazines. You're in the history books. That's how you know you were impactful and you were so successful. So you may not see it now. You may not understand it now at this point, but I encourage you to keep on going. Don't stop. Don't stop. There is no stopping us now. When you have the fire on the inside of you to keep going to build, even with those small pieces or those broken pieces, you build. You continue to go. And so even as you approaching business and entrepreneurship, you have to look back and think, what is it that's actually hindering me from moving to my next level? What's hindering me from moving or having the success that I see for myself? Who told you that you couldn't have it? Who told you that you couldn't make it? All it takes is a desire to do it, a desire to get it done. You've already had to fight against so much. You had to go against so many different biases. You've conquered that. You've overcome that. Our ancestors have fought for us to make this travel on this road a little bit easier. They have given us the blueprint to building businesses. So now all we have to do is our research and make sure whatever we need to add onto it to make it our own. What's stopping you? There's no stopping us now. Ain't no stopping us. I'm gonna keep saying that over and over again. You're leading on purpose. You're leading with purpose. And I want to say this too. Also, the girl in you conquered the enemies of the woman before you even became. I'm gonna say that again. The girl conquered the enemies of the woman before you even became. That's enough right there to make us want to continue to go, continue to do. So today I'm talking to the voiceless. I'm talking to the ones that are in the backgrounds. I'm talking to the ones that feel as if their voice doesn't matter. I'm talking to the ones that's been working behind the scenes in the dark, that's about to be pushed to the forefront. I'm talking to entrepreneurs that feel that if they speak, that once again, someone is going to think that they're too hungry for success, or they're an opportunist. Because oftentimes women, when we have that grit and that determination to get up and go and to do and to take charge and to walk in authority, even that you're called to have, a lot of times we feel as if society or the culture will put it as if you're opportunities or you're too eager. So therefore, the woman that's building has to shrink back. She has to hold back. So I speak for those individuals. I speak for those women. I'm going to speak for the woman who sees something wrong but doesn't say anything, because then she's labeled as jealous or she's labeled as envious. I'm speaking for the woman that has the answer to how to build, that have the strategies that you need. I'm speaking to the woman that knows how to go and troubleshoot, but your ideas and your answers aren't received just because it's coming from you. And you seem too eager. Oh, she's too arrogant in business. She's too bossy in business. No, don't let anyone stop you from those qualities. Those qualities are going to be what's going to keep you and sustain you as a woman. So I encourage you just to keep going, keep building, brick by brick, whatever it is that your business is. Get clarity. If you're in business and you stuck and you say, I need to go, I need to see progress, I need to see the next level, and I don't know what to do, get quiet for a moment, go back to the drawing board and reevaluate what it is that you have to do. Because whatever it is that you're doing right now, just because it's not working, doesn't mean that you stop and you quit. And I want to say this also. Everybody around you can give up on you and quit on you. They can give up on your business and they can quit on your business, but don't you dare give up and quit on yourself. If everybody else stopped believing in you, don't you stop believing in yourself. Keep going, keep fighting, keep building, because I promise you, you're going to see the results of it. Whatever level you feel that you want to see yourself. Don't stop building. Don't stop believing, and don't you dare give up on yourself. Let them think that you're crazy or you're out of your league. You keep working. Don't wait for others to validate you and tell you who you are and who you are in business, what you should be doing. Don't wait for them to do that. You go and create your own table. Create your own seat at the table. Don't wait for anyone else to give you the permission to go ahead and succeed or to go ahead and be successful. You take it upon yourself and you go ahead on and create your own table. And therefore, you'll come back and you'll invite them at the table to sit with you so that they can learn from you. How did you do this right here? How were you so successful? How did you overcome these trials right here? How did you overcome these obstacles in business that were thrown your way? You shut down your business 2 or 3 times and you started again. How did you do that? How did you make it look so easy? Women in business, we have to learn how to suffer gracefully, suffer with class. All our failures. We have to change our perspectives on pain. We have to change our perspectives on, I'm not even going to say they're failures. They're just setbacks. They're just stepping stones to the next level. We have to change our perspective on what is happening around us and why it is happening. Don't give up so easily. Don't quit on yourself. Change how you look at it. This is an opportunity. If something's not working out, this is an opportunity for me to go back to the drawing board and come back even more successful, come back with more strategies to enhance my clients, to enhance the business, come back with a variety of different levels of products and services that's going to increase my revenue, that's going to increase my sales. So when everything seems like it's falling apart, it's actually falling in place for you. Because now you're able to look at an area that you once might not have looked at and reevaluate. That may be something that's weak in my business. Change your mindset. Change your mindset about that. There's no stopping you. I'm here to tell you, for every woman entrepreneur out there, for every woman that's in business out there, ain't no stopping us now. Because look at what's going on in society, in this world today. What they said that we once couldn't do, we now are able to do, and we're able to walk in it with grace and with class. So you're breaking against all the biases, the natural biases, the corporate biases, the ethnicical biases. We're breaking those barriers, and we're going against all of those odds and going to our next level. So I don't know about you, but I'm excited about you. I'm excited for your next level. I'm excited for now that you have a new opportunity to go back and reevaluate yourself. I'm excited for you now that you found your voice and you can speak. You can speak boldly to what it is. I'm excited about you now that you believe in yourself, that you believe that you can get up and that you can do it again. I'm excited about the newfound love and the newfound passion that you didn't know you had. I'm excited that you have found that again, that you started believing that you can build. During this time right here, so many businesses have been birthed in the pandemic. So if they can do it, you can do it too. Believe in yourself. You have a voice. Use your voice. And guess what? When they don't want to hear your voice, when they don't want to see you, keep building anyway, because they're going to have to see you. They're going to have to hear you, because your work is speaking for itself. So am I talking to anybody out there? Am I talking to anyone that's in the business, or any entrepreneurs that have faced these types of issues or faced these types of problems? So I wanted to come from a different way, because we've had great information from various women and various men that gave you how to build and how to take and what to do and strategies to make your business successful. But don't let it fool you though, because you have many out there that's building or that's in it, but yet they feel like their voices is not being heard. They feel, and they know that they see the biases that's happening with them. The women are being treated in another different angle versus the men. So yeah, what do? They get quiet. They don't speak anymore. You have the answer, but you can't give the answer. Your next level, you can go to your next level, whatever that is for you. So I speak for those that are the voiceless on today. There's no stopping you. Get that grit, get up and go again. Overcome, conquer. This is the perfect opportunity now to build. This is the perfect opportunity now to take advantage of everything that's going on, so that you can be all that you know how to be in business, whatever that may be. Don't despise it. And if somebody's sitting out there right now is like, well, you know what, I've started a business and I stopped and I started and I stopped. Okay, go back and pick it up again. Go back and start over again. Reevaluate what it is that you have to do. And there's nothing wrong with restarting. There's nothing wrong with being restored. There's nothing wrong with revamping your structure that you have. Like I said, just make sure that you're not the one that gives up on yourself. Make sure that you're not the one that's stopped believing in you. Everybody else might, but don't you dare stop believing in yourself. When you once say you did not have a voice, you have a voice. Your voice matters. Look at how we started from the beginning of time, and look at how we're excelling and we're progressing now. You matter. So I wanted to also give a quote here from Margaret Thatcher, which is a phenomenal woman. You can research her. She says that any woman who understands the problems of running a home will be nearer to understanding the problems of running a country or her career. So if you're running a home, you can run your business. You're running your home, we can run the country, and we can see that now as it's happening in this present time. If you're running a home, you can run your career. We have the answers that so many are looking for. So for those entrepreneurs that feel like they're alone and no one is there with them, keep going. Somebody's out there watching you, and they're patenting themselves after you. They're looking to see how they can make it in business, how they can be successful, how they can go to the next level, how they can begin again. And I want to say this too, many times or quite often, you are the right answer to someone. You're just positioned in front of the wrong people. So if you're struggling, or if you feel as if I haven't found my right crowd, my right clients yet, I haven't found my right audience, it's nothing wrong with you. It's just that what you have, you're just positioned in front of the wrong audience. So once you get in front of your right audience, everything will start to make sense for you. You'll start to see how things are going to shift for you. Being positioned in front of your right audience, the people that you are called to. Is someone out there right now that's looking for how to handle some things in business? They're looking for you. You have the answer. They're searching for you. All you have to do is be positioned in front of the right individuals, in front of your audience, those that you are called to. So what are you going to do with it? Sandra says, I just got fired from my job because I talk about peace, love, and joy, because I've encouraged both men and women that it doesn't have to their last stop. Exactly. Exactly. Build for yourself. Build your business. Take your business to the next level. Tap into what the needs are for the people. And I promise you, you'll have strategies, you'll have ideas, you'll have witty ways of creating revenue and creating income for yourself. But I just want to encourage those today, those entrepreneurs that are entrepreneurs even in themselves, in their own right, and they don't even know it yet. You're minimizing what you're doing. So don't minimize what you're doing. It's great. Keep going, keep building. Even for those that's even in corporate, they have so many issues and things themselves. They're being overlooked. They're not being taken serious in the fact of the information that they know, the wisdom or the knowledge, the expertise that they possess. So they're looking for someone too. You're one of their answers. They're looking for someone to help come in and help them to maybe get their staff together. You say your gift is that you may have a gift of administration. An organization or a company is looking for you to come in and help direct their team. To help take their team and structure them so that they can start thinking like entrepreneurs. You are someone's answer. Someone is out there looking for you. All you have to do is get placed in front of the right position, in front of the right people, and in front of your audience. And you'll watch things start to take off for you. So once again, I'm excited to be here for the Black Business Expo. I thank Dr. Kelly for the opportunity. This is a platform where everybody can give the information. Businesses have given a wealth of information on today, a wealth of information strategies. But I had to come and I had to talk to those that are voiceless, because there's no stopping us. Ain't no stopping us now. We're going to go to the next level. You're going to do what you were called to do. You're going to do what you were created to do, regardless of if there's no support, little support, minimum support, whatever the case may be. Build even more. Don't get stuck at one place. Even if you feel as if you're content with where you are and you want something different for your business, go in and reevaluate. You have just what it takes. Like I stated, let everybody give up on you, but don't you dare give up on yourself. So I'm thankful for the Black Business Expo. I thank you for each and every one of you for what you've done. Once again, what's so great about the Black Business Expo also is the fact that they are doing scholarships for high school seniors, and they have been doing this for so many years. So even if you are out there and you have you want to be able to be a blessing and help support the Black Business Expo, reach out to one of the CEOs or the directors, one of the executives, Dr. Kelly, and let them know that, hey, I want to help you with being a sponsor for one of our youth that are going off to college. So make sure that you can help support them. They are constantly taking donations. So we're thankful for what they're doing, even in the midst of this pandemic, with this marathon right here. Just bringing everybody together collectively from all over the world to give their wisdom, to give their expertise. We're definitely thankful for it. Once again, I am Dr. Shamika Turner-Williams. I'm excited to be here today with you just to speak with those that are feeling lost, to speak to those that feel as if they don't matter, to speak with those that feel like their voice is not being heard, to speak to those that feel as if their work is not being seen, to speak to those that feel as if they are not on the right path, on the right track. Continue to build, continue to keep going. Don't stop there. Even if you have to start, like someone stated earlier, in the basement or in the home, start there. Your business matters. Your business matters. So I'm thankful for you. If you want to connect with me, you can reach out to me. I'm on social media, Facebook, Instagram at Dr. Shamika Turner-Williams. You can also email me at shamikaturnerwilliams@gmail.com. I'm thankful for the opportunity. Next level coaching and consulting. We're pushing leaders and professionals into their next level. Also with Pearls of Purpose, Inc. I'm here for the women and children of abuse and just being able to support them through their transition. So you have what it takes to go to the next level. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. You have what it takes on the inside of you. Don't minimize the small beginnings. Don't minimize your start. Just continue to build and continue to go to the next level, whatever that may be for you. Stay tunnel vision, have tunnel vision, stay focused on what you know you need to do. You're an expert in your own field, you're an expert in your own right. But guess what? Your work is speaking for itself when your voice can't travel. Your efforts are speaking. They see you building when you can't even speak for yourself. So I encourage each and every one of you to keep going. Let nothing stop you. Let nothing get in your way. You have what it takes. You are what you already see in your mind. You're already doing it. So I encourage each and every one of you to keep on going. And I thank you for this opportunity.
Dr. Turner-Williams, this is Mark Lee, your streaming producer. Definitely was glad to have you give that very powerful presentation. And I know that a lot of entrepreneurs, both women entrepreneurs and other entrepreneurs, were definitely very inspired by your message of hope and all of that. So I know that Dr. Kelly also would be giving you thanks as well, but we're going to bring up Terrence Staten, who's going to introduce our next guest. But definitely I was very inspired by your words of encouragement to all the entrepreneurs out there, and I consider myself an entrepreneur as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, Terrence, you're on mute.
Okay, can you hear me?
There we go.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Mark. Like you, I was very inspired by Dr. Shamika T. Williams. Boy, I mean, I'm sitting here taking so many notes. She is definitely a next level coach and consultant, pushing leaders and professionals to their next level. I love it. I want to just kind of go back to some things that really resonated with me, because I am an entrepreneur myself. I'm an aspiring entrepreneur. And it's so important to hear stuff like that. It doesn't matter if you are a female or if you're a male. She dropped some gems today. And I was like, wow, now I feel really encouraged. But a few things that she said to me that really resonated was, yes, you can build it with little. Every step we take is closer to your next steps. There are no limits to what you can do as an entrepreneur. You are already successful and you don't even know it. Don't stop. There is no stopping us now. We are overcomers. Today, we are leading with purpose. Don't you dare quit on yourself. Don't minimize yourself. Keep building. You are someone's answers. Those are some great sentiments, Dr. Shamika, and I am really thankful for your message today. I'm pretty sure you have resonated with so many people. And again, if you want to connect with Dr. Turner, please feel free to go to shamikaturnerwilliams@gmail.com. I am endorsing her. I love it. I love her message. It was powerful. The Black Business Expo USA has been sensational thus far. Dr. Kelly brought together a very dynamic group of speakers this year. I mean, Dr. George Frazier, Dr. Dennis Rogers, Latoya Best Gaddy, Kimberly Winborn, Derek and Sherelle, James, Tammy Hall, Harold McCoy, Dr. Fan Harris, Mia Lamont, LaShawn Harley, and the list goes on. So I know these trailblazers have you re-energized and ready to end 2020 strong and pumped for 2021. Again, my name is Terrence Staten with Center for Home Ownership and Economic Development. I am the director of our business academy here in North Carolina. Like you, we are so grateful to be a part of this historic moment, the first virtual Black Business Expo USA event. Sharing this platform with brilliant speakers from all over the globe, a collection of masterminds here to encourage and inspire you to achieve greatness and to build upon your legacy. When I think of legacy, this gentleman whom I'm going to introduce next is the paragon of solidifying a legacy by intensifying your wealth creation strategy. Ladies and gents, you are in for another dynamic session. I work with this gentleman on so many platforms and so many capacities. It's only fitting that we come back together here at the Black Business Expo USA. So without further ado, please allow me to introduce my friend and mentor, Thomas Iceberg Wilson, CEO of MVP, Mobile Vision Partnerships. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, and you?
I am doing well. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm telling you, when you made that introduction, I was wondering who you was talking about. I didn't think you was talking about me. I had to look over my shoulder and see who else is coming in the room. You know, I know most people get on and they try to give you a bio and a template and all the accolades of everything they've done. But to me, first thing, let me give all praise and honor to my Lord and Father, Jesus Christ. You know, I want to start there because everything starts with him. The next thing, let's just kind of get to the people and get them what they want. You know, I think first, you know, we can say things I've done, but what does that mean to you? How does it help you? So I really would like to add value and say, okay, how do we get you to where you need to be? What is that you want to accomplish? You know, I've done a lot of things. I'm experiencing from marketing strategists to business coaching to doing, Terrence will tell you, business deals all over the U.S., training people all over the U.S. I just actually got a text from somebody who's down in Miami right now, NBA players that I coach. But the biggest thing is this: I help build generational wealth. Everything starts with your mindset. Are you investable? Today, what I'm going to talk about is this: how to build a business and think like an investor. Because so many of us want to get in business that we forget the key part of it, critical thinking. So let's step back for a sec. I know you got different businesses, or you're trying to be an entrepreneur, you are an entrepreneur, you've been in business for a while now. But when was the last time you sat back and thought like an investor? You know, Robert Kiyosaki has a paradigm where you start as an employee, entrepreneur, business owner, but the last phase is investor. That's the top level. So while we start with the mindset of an employee and then trying to graduate to an entrepreneur, then trying to graduate to a business owner, and then get to the part where we say, okay, I should have been this level investor. So we're going to shift gears a little bit and take you there. But here's the thing, and I'm going to get real close because I want us to get real comfortable here. I want us to understand this is an intimate conversation, and I'm so passionate about what I want to share with you. My heart, my soul burns to give this information to you and allowing God to use me as the conduit to get it to you. I want to thank Dr. Kelly for allowing me to speak on this platform. The first business, I want you to think about this. Your first name, your last name, Inc. You are your first business. Well, what do you mean? Well, let's take a look. How much do you bring in annually? That's your revenue, that's your cash flow. Okay. What's your annual expense? Be honest with yourself. How much do you bring in and how much are you spending annually? When you bring those two together, are you net positive? Are you breaking even? Or are you debt? Because the key behind that is, would you invest in you? The way you're operating your business right now, when you take a look at those numbers, would you invest in you? If you wouldn't, we need to take a look at that. If you're breaking even, but say you have credit card bills, well, you're debt. And if that continues on 3 to 5 years, now you become a damaged company where nobody wants to invest in you. But if you can show a path of steady growth that investors can track, well, we know you're on the right path then. So we need to take a look at how are you managing yourself first, and then translate that to say, okay, how am I going to run my business? My cash is coming in. How am I deploying those assets? Am I being efficient? Am I being effective? Where's my focus? Where's my time? Because anybody that sits in front of me, first thing I ask them to do is write out your 24 hours. Be honest. Don't try to change it because you're in front of me. Show me what you do 24 hours in a day and write it down. And if that's what you do consistently, I can just about tell you what your annual income is. I can just about tell you how long you're going to last before you run out of gas. See, something I'm going to share with you, most people don't, because they want to keep it to themselves. This game is used to keep you out. It is not rigged for you to win. You're supposed to lose because you're locked up. And we start doing 3 things. First, change our philosophy. How we approach business, what we think about money, because everything starts with the mindset. The 3 factors from a personal side that everybody looks at: family, occupation, recreation. I want you to write that down. Family, occupation, recreation. We're going to slide that to the side. I said philosophy, your mindset, how you see the world, how you view the world. So I want you to take a look at that philosophy and say, okay, how do I view my family? How do I view my occupation? How do I view my recreational lifestyle? Then we start to the next step, the planning. What plans have I made for my family? What plans have I made for my occupation, business? What plans have I made for my lifestyle? See, I said recreation, but I want you to understand it's a lifestyle. What plans have you made for the lifestyle? The last P is very critical. So I'm coming real close to you. Process. See, we all want to win, but we don't put a process in place that's duplicatable, that allows us to win consistently. And truth be told, a lot of us have STD. Whoa. I'm just getting all in your business now. I said it. A lot of us got STD. Well, Thomas, you don't know me that well. What do you mean I got STD? Listen closely. A lot of you are scared to death. STD, you are scared to death. You say you want success, you talk about success, but you don't really want it. It's that other voice inside your head that keeps telling you, can't do it. It's too hard. You don't want to discipline yourself. You don't want to put the time in. You don't want to put the work in. You rather talk about it. You rather be entertained. But to get out there and really do what Michael Jordan does, LeBron James does, you got to put the work in. You got to sacrifice. See, this is a thing called New Year's Eve resolution. And we all make this resolution every year. Never fails. Everybody has a resolution. And we all say what we want. But we never say what we're going to give up. What are you going to give up to truly get your business running? To truly be the person you were created to be. Fulfill your purpose. And stop playing small. What are you willing to invest in? And I say the word invest, not cost, not spend, because words matter. What are you willing to invest in order to achieve the results, the lifestyle, the family life, the business that you really know you're supposed to have? I want you to write these things down. I want you to think like a billionaire. I want you to think like an investor. All the major companies in the world do this critical thinking I'm about to expose you to. If you implement this in your business, I guarantee you success. I'm gonna let that sink in for a sec. I guarantee you success. Number one, cost advantage. How much does it cost you to produce the revenue you're producing? Have you ever looked at that and say, what does it cost me if you make $1 million a year, 10 million, 100 million, 10 billion? What is it costing you to produce that revenue? Most major businesses understand how to control their costs. What do? Well, I'll be honest with you. Lines. Some of those businesses buy the raw material. I want you to think about it. Whatever it is, service you're producing, or product you're producing, it has raw materials. It has hard costs that can be reduced if you think in volume. The key thing I just said, volume. When you do pieces at a time, it costs you more. When you bulk buy, it reduces your price. Now, you and me may sell the same product. We may sell it for the same price. My cost advantage that allows me to shoot past you is that I get it for a lower price. Now, I want you to take a look now and 10 years from now, if that same trend continues. Where would I be? I'll probably be controlling more of the margins in that industry, because I'm going to go further than you to find out how is this product really made from ground up, the natural resources, where can I buy that from? That way, from beginning to end, I can control my margins. By controlling my margins, I create the number one thing every business has that's successful right now: a competitive advantage. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I'm talking about right now. What is your competitive advantage? Is it cost? And I don't mean trying to drop your price just because so you can battle on prices, because you lose that battle. What you want to do is control the margins within that cost. anybody can just go low just to go low. But how long can you last? Because your burn rate might exceed your net income. So now you're just running yourself out of business. But if I can control the margins within that product or that service from the beginning, that gives me a competitive